You know, I haven't recorded a podcast for a couple weeks now. Today makes two Fridays in a row that nothing has gone live. And I could give you all kinds of explanations for that. But the truest thing I can say really is that my voice has felt hidden, like bottled up. Like I know I have things to say, and I just am not able to access them. It's like poof, nothing's there. And I decided that I just wanted to talk about that today because maybe I'm not the only one that has this happen. I'm not going to edit this episode. There's not going to be my intro or my outro. It's just going to be me talking to you like you're sitting across the table from me. I'm not going to try to make it profound. I'm not going to try to, you know, make my 2 week absence worth something more. I'm just turning on my microphone, just being real with you. You know, sometimes the thing isn't really gone. It just isn't available right now. Have you ever had that happen to you? Like, there's a difference between I have nothing to say and what I have to say is just not accessible to me right now. It's not that I was empty, but I was carrying some sadness personally. I was discouraged. Uh, I've been spending a lot of time, a lot of my creative energy on some other projects that light me up. And I think that my system was just saying, not right now. There in the past, oh my word, I would have squeezed something out of myself anyway. I would have sat myself down, felt like I wanted to bawl and inside, like, get me out of here. Don't force me to do something. But I would have done it, produced something because I thought that that was my way of being good, my way of showing up in my business and for my people. And that's what we do, you know, but I don't, I don't do that anymore. It's, that's not a thing really. It's just somebody's belief system that was being imposed on me. I mean, it was part of my training that I got with being an entrepreneur and being a coach. I did get some of it. I did get some of it from that, maybe a lot of it from that. But this time I'm just not going to do, I just don't do that anymore. I progressed. You know, I started being a coach in April of 2019, you know, so I'm a little more seasoned. I'm a little more wise, you could say. And so the thing that I think the truth here is let's not be so quick to turn like temporary unavailability into an identity statement. You know, like I have no creativity. I've lost my motivation. I'm lazy or I'm inconsistent or, oh, here's a good one. I'm failing. I'm not measuring up. When really the truth is something inside me needs something other than being productive right now. And here's the second thing that I want to point out is that, you know what? Discouragement matters more than we dare admit. Discouragement. I remember I had a client, and that was her biggest thing. She did not want to be discouraged. It feels awful. It feels awful. And so I'm just going to be real and honest with you today. The last episode that I recorded before this one, he was on fire about that episode. I feel so good about it. I actually believe that it's one of my strongest episodes. You know, I shared about a really powerful experience that happened in my Come Home to Your Heart masterclass, where I felt like there was so much for anyone, for you to glean from it, to apply. And so from the episode, I pulled out certain clips and I shared them on social media. And you know what I got? Crickets. Not a very big reach either. And I felt pretty discouraged. I felt pretty discouraged. And they teach us it's not about a numbers game. Numbers don't matter. But you know what? They do affect me. They do affect us sometimes because I am human. I've spent years pouring my heart out in this podcast, 3.5 years now. And I really, really care about my message reaching as many women, men that I can. That really matters to me because I think it's a good one. I think it's sacred. And I think it will bless people's lives. So, of course, it can hurt when something meaningful is shared and then it just seems to disappear into the black hole. You know, I know intellectually, I know that the algorithm doesn't determine the value of my work or someone's lack of response. It doesn't determine whether something I created was good or not. And you know what? Knowing that still doesn't mean that I never feel discouraged. I'm human. So two things can be true then, right? And I can hold space for both. I can hold space for believing in my message and feeling like it's really important and feeling the discouragement that people aren't hearing it. You know, you can still know your worth isn't determined by engagement and still wish there was engagement. I can trust my calling. You can trust your calling and have moments when you wonder, does anybody even care or want to hear this? What's the point? I don't think the goal is to eliminate discouragement. I remember talking with my client about that. It's human. It's a human response. But maybe it's not to abandon yourself when the discouragement arrives and to be a soft place for yourself to land. There's a difference between, I got to sneeze. Well, maybe not. Oh, sorry about that. Ah, okay. There's not a difference between sneezing. No, what I was going to say is I might sneeze again. There's a difference between avoidance and honoring yourself. Sometimes we absolutely avoid doing things because they're uncomfortable. And then sometimes a protective part wants to hide. And that's kind of what I was doing is what I was trying to decide what this last couple of weeks. I was trying to decide what is going on for me. Am I avoiding it because I'm uncomfortable, or am I avoiding it because there's a protective part that's trying to protect me? So let's hide. Or am I not doing it because that really is where my energy is and that I'm restoring? And I'm just allowing myself to work through it. And I'm doing the latter. But there's also sometimes when we need loving, a nudge towards courage. That's something that we're doing in my masterclass right this week. They had to come up with a dare, something that scares them, but they need to take the step and do the thing anyway. Yeah. So I kind of got off a little bit right there, but there we go. Um, but sometimes we just need a loving nudge towards courage. And then sometimes, like I was mentioning earlier, there's this forcing. I force myself to show up and do the thing, even though it's like I might as well go get my teeth pulled. And it's because it's an old pattern, it's conditioning. This is how we were raised, or this is the way we were taught. And so instead, it's really good to ask, am I being, am I nurturing myself at, no, that's not how I want to say that. Am I lovingly stretching myself right now, or am I overriding myself? That's a really important distinction, right? Because for these 2 weeks, it wasn't simply about, I don't feel like podcasting, so whatever. I noticed what was happening. I noticed the sadness. I was very well aware of the bandwidth that I have for creativity was going somewhere else, and that really lights me up. And so my voice felt unavailable. And so I honored that. I honored that information. And this is what self trust is. It's not always what's doing what feels comfortable, or it's not always doing what feels hard, but it's developing enough relationship, connection with yourself so that you can discern what is actually needed. And here's what's interesting, I think, is that I'm not saying because I'm recording this episode that my voice is returned, because I figured out this perfect topic, or that my voice returned when I decided I could tell the truth about not having. I need to say that again. My voice returned when I decided that I was just going to get on here and tell the truth about not having my voice. That is my episode. That's what it is. And that's something that I'm learning about me more and more, is that I don't have to climb out of an experience and be on the other side before I'm allowed to talk about it. No, my strength and my gift is talking about it, speaking when I'm in it, and being vulnerable and sharing what's going on for me. So, how I would like to make this so it's applicable to you. What Marci's going through? How can that be helpful for you? And so, as I was thinking about that, I'd like for you to ponder, is there somewhere where you've been trying to force yourself to do something lately? And I'm not saying like a just have some courage and do something that's like kind of scary. I'm talking about like, by damn, we are going to do this. And there's really a pushing, needing, grippy type of an energy. And it could be in motherhood, it could be in your marriage, it could be in church, it could be, I've got to be more creative. It could be about your body and what you eat. It could be about exercising or socializing or work, or what your house looks like. I don't know. Like, I'm just giving you some ideas. Or like keeping everyone happy. So see if you can identify, is relate to you at all? And then I have 4 questions for you. And it's part of what where I've been while I've been searching the last couple of weeks, what's going on for me. So, first question is, what have I been making my lack of energy or motivation or capacity mean about me? And you can pause the episode right here and go ahead and journal on it, and then come back for the second one, or just write them down and do it later. But answer the questions. The second question is, am I avoiding something that needs courage? Or is something in me genuinely asking to be listened to? The third one, what might become available if I stopped judging where I'm at right now? And the last one, what would it look like to stay in like relationship or connection with myself instead of forcing myself through it? Remember, we're just going to be curious. We are curiously and compassionately pondering these questions. And here's the thing. I don't know what this means for next week. I hope I'm here. I do believe I have plenty I want to talk about, but I am trying to learn something that I teach all the time. And that is how to honor and stay in relationship with myself, you know, instead of produce, and not helping me feel better about myself. So, today that's what I had for you. It's not a polished episode. I had a sneeze right there in the middle of that. I fumbled around with my words. It's not carefully planned at all. It's just me turning on the microphone and being real with you. And, maybe somebody listening today needs the permission to do the same thing. Not necessarily to stop, but just to freaking listen. Just to listen. So before you push yourself one more time, get curious. What's happening inside me? What do I actually need? And can I stay with myself here? Sometimes finding your voice begins by telling the truth about why it went quiet. Yeah, that's what I have for you today. And the one last thing that I would just ask you is if this episode made you think of someone who's been pushing herself pretty hard lately, please send it to her. I'd really appreciate that. All right. You have a good rest of your day. And I'll be waiting here for you next time you push play. And I love you.